my colleagues, good morning. Well, I expected a much more vibrant feedback. Good morning. As Madame Ndai has said, is that tango is the voice of the voiceless. The least we could do is give voice this morning. That's it's my immense pleasure to join you today as the resident representative of the United States. This important two-day training focused on advocacy for civil society organizations, inter-party committees, and other stakeholders effectively lobby for quota systems and supportive policies that promote women's political participation and leadership. I would like to extend my immense gratitude to TANGO for partnering with us in women's political participation is commendable and essential for the progress of this great nation. This would not be possible without the funding from the Secretary General's Peacebuilding Fund, in which we are able on the ground to work together in partnership and promote these noble ideals. Ladies and gentlemen, as I walked in this morning, I noticed that we had a young lady who was joining us for this training. And young lady, I mean young. At the back of the room, Madame, can you please stand and introduce one of our youngest participants? I think it's important that we start them young and making sure that this important role of having women leadership is enshrined in our cultural and social norms. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are well aware that a lot of advocacy, a lot of training has been done. But we need to make sure that we're tackling this in a way that is transformative and will make a difference. Executive Director, gender equality and women's empowerment remains a critical development issue in many countries worldwide. Achieving women's representation in elected institutions in equal proportion to men is essential to establishing the credibility and legitimacy of parliaments, national assemblies, and local governments. However, gender representation comprise half of the world's population. As we gather here today, I would like to highlight the critical context of this discourse about women's political participation and leadership. The recent Summit of the Future underscored the urgent need for inclusive governance models that promote participation from all segments of society. We know in Africa, this includes our young people and the youth. So not only emphasizing but ensuring that it is our young women who are there and representing the development needs of this nation. According to the most recent Gambia Bureau of Statistics census data, women make up 51% of the population of the Gambia. They also make up 57% of the registered electorates, yet their representation in political office remains disproportionate. Legislative elections, women accounted for only 8.6% of seats in the National Assembly, with just 3 securing seats. Furthermore, the current cabinet includes just 14% women, a decline from the previous terms. I think it's important that we note that the 2 cabinet ministers are the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, and the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. So these are very critical posts, but we also need to make sure that more are given to women leaders. Women only make up 15% of the 120 elected councillors. I'm proud that the person who will be speaking after me is going to give you real and first-hand information of what it means to run a campaign and be politically elected, because I don't have that personal experience yet. This is where you all laugh. But these figures highlight a significant gap in women's representation and participation. It is therefore crucial for us to advocate for changes towards normalizing the presence of women in political spaces and ensure that their voices are heard. I don't important that we're not representing the voiceless, but we're taking the collective, passionate, empowered voices and making sure they're having a meaningful change in this country. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals serve as a guiding framework for our endeavors. Goal number 5, which advocates for gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, resonates deeply with our mission here today. We must embrace these goals not only as targets to strive for, but acknowledge them as essential commitments which, if acted on, can transform our social and political landscape. I'm proud to see that we also have our male champions here. I was hoping I'd be able to have someone raise up their son and say I brought them here today to also start them early. The promotion of women in leadership and decision-making without discrimination is central to UNDP's and the UN's mandate as a whole. It is intrinsic to our sustainable peace and development approach, and we pay attention to the full and effective participation of women in decision-making. We therefore are keen that decision-making in Gambia's politics be responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative. This cannot be achieved without an ecosystem upon which we can achieve adequate gender diversity at all levels of politics and females with the right attitude and skills. Esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's an important part that we also need to stress. We are not fighting or shouting for women's empowerment just for the sake of it, but we're talking about skilled, experienced, and exposed women leaders, young ladies, to be able to support us reaching the national development goals. Ladies and gentlemen, this training is therefore designed to enhance the advocacy capacities of civil society organizations, traditional communicators, media personnel, informal leaders in our communities, and all other partners, so that we can effectively campaign for quota systems and engage your communities with powerful messages about the valuable leadership role women play. As we embark on these discussions, let us remain focused on actionable outcomes that can lead to tangible changes in the political landscape. I would like to reaffirm UNDP's unwavering commitment to supporting these initiatives. We will continue our strategic partnership with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, civil society organizations, our sister agencies, and other stakeholders as we strive for a future where women are fully represented in leadership at all levels. In conclusion, participate actively in the sessions, provide your insights, collaborate, and make sure that your voice is heard so that you're better equipped to be able to make a change in your communities. Together, we can lay the groundwork for a future where women and young girls are not development and peace building in this great nation. Thank you very much. Abaraka Njeri Jack.
Thank you so much, Madam Mandisa. Those words are really powerful. So as the likely mentioned, let's work together to make sure that women political participation, we increase women political participation at all levels. So on that note, I am deeply honored to invite the Lord Mayoress of Banjul, who is no other person but Mayor Lohimalik Law. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, Ami. Good morning, Madam Sering Day Bakure, Executive Director, TANGO, UNDP representative, Madisa, my very own sister, TANGO chairperson, Yadifo Njai, civil society organizations here present, distinguished participants, colleagues, invited guests, dedicated advocates for change. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I am invited to this two-day training workshop organized by the Association of Non-Government Development Program, UNDP. We're here today to engage in a vital conversation about enhancing women's political participation and leadership in the Gambia. As we embark on this journey together, let us recognize the pivotal role that advocacy plays in shaping policies that empower women. The quota system and supportive legislation are not just technical tools, they are pathways to a more equitable and inclusive society. Our goal, traditional communicators and media personnel to effectively lobby for these changes. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout our time together, we will explore strategies for community engagements. We will also enhance our understanding of political party dynamics and share impactful messaging that underscores the importance of women in leadership. Each of you is a vital link in this chain of change, and your commitment to this cause is commendable. Therefore, we all must not be spectators, but active participants to enable the change we desire. Together, we can create a groundwell of support that amplifies women's voices and positions them as leaders in their communities and beyond. Let us seize this opportunity to learn, collaborate, and strengthen our resolve to advocate for a more inclusive political landscape. Women's equal participation and leadership in political and public life are essential to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 20% at all levels of decision making worldwide, and that achieving gender parity in political life is far off. Now, let's take it to the context of Gambia and examine the progress made. Women in executive government position, if I am right, out of 15 or more ministers, we have only two in the executive, as alluded by my dear sister. At the level of the national parliament, out of 53, we have five, three elected and two nominated. And the local government, we have only one female mayor out of eight, and not more than 15 councillors out of 100. You will now agree with me that we are far, far behind in expanding women participation in leadership positions, which is indeed very important and a call to action. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen, and let us get started on this important journey. I count on you to amplify the voices of women, which are always painfully silent. And empowerment starts at the local level. So localization is indeed important. Hence, using the local language, key to our advocacy, very, very key to our advocacy. I therefore want to once again say thank you so very much to Bakuri and your team. I appreciate being here. As the first female mayor, I want to see more mayors and indeed more people at the executive level. I thank you so much, and also want to say that every political party in the Gambia should do exactly as my political party is doing. If every political party brings one woman to compete at the level of the parliamentarian or local government, we will soon have many women in leadership positions. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Lord Mayoress. That is indeed great. So, we have the members of the IPCs that are here, and also they are representing a political party. So, I think that is a one takeaway that you can take back to your political parties. Let them have female representatives. Let them bring next election. We want to see more female being represented both at the mayor level and also at the councillorship level. So on that note, I would also like to call on our Madam Chair, who is the other person, but Mrs. Antiyadi Konya Eribo to give a keynote address. Antiyadi, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ami. Good morning, everybody. And well, Madam Mayoress has left. I like to stand on all existing protocol. Madam Director, my sister, Mrs. Bakurin, my other sister, UNDP President Representative, Madam Mandisa, female politicians, good morning. Participants, please allow me to stand on all existing protocols. First of all, I like to say I'm so happy to see this room. The room, I mean, yes, we have a lot of women, but we have our he for she's here also supporting us. So this is really nice. So I'll start. It is crucial that we gather here today for an important 2-day session on the promotion of women political participation and leadership. The landscape of social change is evolving, and effective advocacy has to take place for more change to come on. Tango is excited to hold this training with support from the UNDP United Nations Development Program. This initiative comes in time when we are gearing up for the next cycle of election. And this is very important, the next cycle of election. In Gambia, we've been talking about women's participation. We've been talking about women's participation. The last cycle of election, we to voting. We are not voting women. We are not voting women in Gambia. So because of this, we have to do more advocacy. And the campaign process is so difficult for women in the Gambia. It can become, the waters become very muddy and makes it difficult. And a lot of women will be afraid to step into such muddy waters. We know Mandisa has told us some of these statistics. So was Mayor Rohit Maliklu gave us some more statistics. In Parliament, we keep repeating it. We are only 8% in Parliament. And we do believe if we have more women in Parliament, our voices will be heard. And some of the issues we went through in 2024, the FGM issues, I think we would not have been there had more women been in Parliament to speak up for women. And also, Rohimalik Law talked about cabinet. We only have 2 women in cabinet. And yet we have such capable women. I mean, just looking at this room, we have so many capable women, but still women's representation is still lagging behind. This training is designed to equip participants with the tool and understanding the necessity for effective advocacy. Key areas of focus will include the fundamentals of advocacy, its purpose, and strategies for influencing policy change. Participants will look at the significance of quota system. We tried our hands on quota system as gender activists a few years back, and it did not go very well. I got as far as the second reading, and it died a painful death. But we are going to raise that issue back up. Quota system, I think, is probably the most important thing to get women's representation here in the Gambia. And also we'll look at the parties, the political parties, their support for women, because Mandisa said it here. Mandisa said 51%, but Mandisa, we are 51.7%. So I rounded up to 52%. We are 52%. So if you look at it, and Madam Bakurin said it, we are the kingmakers. We are the one that votes them in. Why are we not voting for ourselves? Why are we not voting for our sisters and our mothers? So if every woman, registered woman votes, just us women, we can put a president in. If no single other, the gender, let's start taking a look at how we can support women. Participants will also acquire practical skills in strategic lobbying, learning how to effectively engage with policymakers, build coalitions, and mobilize public support. That's really a very important point because as women, we have to learn how to how to go around in these fields because it can be new to us. Some of it is new to us, so it's good that we learn. So it's nice that we have all these young ladies, all these ladies here that are ready to learn on how to get women's participation come up with more. Additionally, the workshop will facilitate networking among CSOs, among political parties, and other stakeholders, fostering collaboration to create a unified front for systematic change. This interactive training will feature expert led presentations, group discussions, case studies, and role playing exercise. Participants will collaborate, get into collaborative partnership. They will learn the environment that they are working on, and also more. As we convene for this training, we acknowledge that advocacy is a powerful tool for change. And in the Gambia, things are changing, but we need to really do more advocacy so we can bring about more changes. Together, we can work towards building a more inclusive society by effectively lobbying again for this quota system. The skills and connections developed during this training will empower the participants to take meaningful action in their communities. We look forward to your participation and commitment to drive a positive change for the women of the Gambia. I thank you so much for listening, and I want to take this opportunity to open this training. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and Tiade. So, having said that, I think it is high time for us to draw the curtain here, and then we go have breakfast. So probably the Kamarankas and the Sisenkas are very hungry. So it is really important for us to go and have the breakfast and then start the session proper. So I think my colleague is going around to give her the coupon. So we are going to have the breakfast upstairs at the VIP. They call it. I can actually didn't remember. So then before we go for breakfast, maybe we can kindly converge outside and then have a group picture. Then from there, we can go proceed and have a breakfast. Thank you everyone for coming, and then I wish you a very successful discussion.